Hi, this is Sarah Mikesell with the Pig Site, and today we're here with Dr. Kara Stewart. She is a professor at Purdue University. Thanks for being with us today, Kara.
Thanks for having me, Sarah.
Very good, and we're at one of the pre-conference seminars at the Leman Swine Conference here in St. Paul, Minnesota, and you talked to a group today about colostrum management. Can you tell us a little bit about your message?
Yes. So colostrum is that first milk produced by sows that really, in my opinion, starts the developmental trajectory for the pig. And so the more colostrum we can convince those pigs to drink, the better off they're going to be. So today I tried to show some data about what types of effects or types of benefits might be seen from higher colostrum intake pigs. So higher growth rates, earlier age at puberty and gilts, and better reproductive performance in sows. So all of these are economically important traits, but it also really kind of pushes the impact of what colostrum does for specifically gilt management and gilt longevity to help us produce the best females we can to become moms later on.
Very good. And what are some of the key things that I guess you can do on farm to really help increase, I guess is maybe the best way to say it, colostrum production? What are those day-to-day things that people can do to have better success with their colostrum management programs, especially for gilts, based on your research?
Yeah, so this is kind of the tough question. So a lot of the commercial data, anecdotally, we hear some success stories of changing management with things like drying piglets or split suckling or some strategic cross-fostering. But in a research setting, we don't always see those direct impacts come on colostrum intake in the offspring. So I think it all comes down to day one pig care. I think this is just a big, another way of saying we have to be in the barns, we have to be watching these piglets, we have to be making sure they're getting access to the teats and drinking as much milk as we can. And whether it takes giving the employees a job in the barn, like drying piglets or setting up a cross-fostering strategy or a split suckling thing, that is putting more people in the barn and more people around those young pigs, and I think that's going to help us keep driving that colostrum intake up.
Very good. And you talked a little bit about minimum standards and also kind of more of an ideal standard. Can you talk a little bit about that for the amount of colostrum?
Yes, so some research in the earlier 2000s really showed that 200 grams of colostrum intake was adequate for survival in piglets, and I think multiple studies and data sets have shown that to be very true. So survival, we need about 200 grams of colostrum. But then I think we have to define what makes a thriving gilt. A gilt successful is all kinds of other things in terms of production and successful offspring and stayability in the herd. And so in order to reach those standards, we actually don't have some good data to show us what the role is of colostrum in meeting those standards. But a few papers that I put together would suggest 300 grams and above is what makes a thriving animal, and that's the amount they need to get on that trajectory for long-term success.
Very good. And you talked a little bit about how to know if they've got enough, these baby piglets. I mean, what are the on-farm management strategies that people have just to make sure that they're getting enough in the piglet? I mean, 200 grams versus 300 grams is not probably visible, maybe,
no.
Right?
No, for sure, not at all. So I think it just comes down to managing those pigs that for some reason are disadvantaged to getting to the teat. So making sure there's enough teats for every pig to have their own teat to suckle, and then making sure that we are walking the barn frequently enough and identifying the piglets that when all the other brothers and sisters are up there nursing, if there's one that's not, they're going to be disadvantaged. So why is that piglet not up there nursing with its siblings? And so that could be a thermoregulation, maybe the heat lamp bulb is out, whatever it is, we need to just be present and looking that they have all gotten their drinks. Really, really well-trained employees can also look for sort of full bellies on those baby pigs, that within the first couple of hours of birth, they've all gotten at least one good drink of that colostrum. That then helps them regulate their body temperature and helps them want to come back for more milk. So kind of really early piglet management is important.
So it's people is very much what we heard from not just our conversation with you, but the other presentations too, is that people are such an important role in just managing these baby piglets.
For sure. I can't stress it enough, and I know that's a big challenge area in the pig industry now, is finding people who want to be very vested in the success of these piglets, but also keeping employees and not having such high turnover. It's most people today aren't raised around livestock and didn't grow pigs and raise pigs as kids. So it's all a learned thing for them to move into our barns, and we have to keep teaching them and training them. And I think it's important to share with them the why. You know, if they know why it's so important for that piglet to be sure that it's getting milk, then they're more likely to continually come back and try to find those pigs and help them. So training and keeping employees is going to be an increasing challenge for us.
Yeah, thanks so much for all the information today, Kara.
Thanks for having me today.
This is Sarah Mikesell with the Pig Site.